The bias controls, naturally, let you adjust the level of the bias signal that's applied to all tape recordings. Okay, a quick explanation. Bias is an ultrasonic frequency that's mixed into all tape recordings. You can't hear it, but it's always there, and it serves a technical purpose. Without this inaudible signal being present at all times, the magnetic particles on a piece of tape would respond sluggishly when the incoming signal is at a low level. The magnetic particles need to see a certain level to be remagnetized, recorded. At low levels, they won't respond readily, distorting the wave until the signal increases to a loud enough level to get them going. The inaudible bias signal is strong enough and fast enough, high enough in frequency, to keep the magnetic particles in a constant state of flux, which means they're ready to respond accurately when even quiet audio frequency signals come along. This makes the recording more linear, more accurate. But like everything else with analog equipment, the use of bias is not perfectly transparent, and slight adjustments here can have a subtle effect on that aspect of the sound. The default setting is nominal. That'll result in the cleanest sound. I'll deal with all the delay settings in a separate tutorial, so I'm going to skip down to the bottom panel and cover those controls now. Since no two tracks of an analog tape machine sound exactly alike, Waves modeled two different channels for this plugin. Skipping channel 1, which would be on the edge of the tape and prone to less than ideal response, they modeled tracks 2 and 3. Each has a subtly different quality, similar to the subtle differences between the different modeled channels in the Red console plugins. If you're running the J37 in stereo, by default the left side will use the track 2 model, and the right side the track 3 model, the 2+3 setting. But you can choose to have both left and right use the same channels model if you want, either 2 or 3. You will get a little more spread and separation on a true stereo signal if you choose the 2+3 option. Next up are the wow and flutter controls. Since these introduce what is essentially pitch modulation, you have the familiar rate and depth controls you probably know from the modulation sections in synths and chorus effects. You can overuse these for special effects, but for more natural sounding tape emulation, you'll want to apply them very gently. I'll run through the range of effect for each one, and then end up on typical settings for a natural, barely perceptible effect. Noise level just adds some simulated tape hiss into the signal. And SAT is short for saturation. You remember that the tape saturation effect is a combination of compression and distortion of the wave. One way you can tweak the character of this effect is with the different tape formulations. This control offers another way. As you push it above its default level of 0, you'll hear a more saturated quality even at lower input levels. To my ears, this really brings out more of the distortion component of the saturation emulation, while pushing the level with the in control emphasizes the compressed quality of the simulation. Try comparing them both at plus 18 dB and see if you agree. The meters give you a visual reference of how hard you're pushing the virtual level to tape. It's most useful if you set it to show input level with the in switch. With the in and out controls initially set to 0, the level of the incoming signal should show at around -3 to 0 VU on the meter, just as it would on a real tape machine. Then, if you push the level to tape with the in control, you'll get increasing saturation. Waves recommends input levels of around +1 to +2 dB on the VU meter for a nice subtle saturation that would be typical of what you'd be looking for in the real world. Of course, you can push harder if you want. Their recommended level sounds good to me on drums, but for something like bass or guitar, you could certainly go for more effect. Alternatively, you could add more edge with the saturation knob to the left, which won't register a level increase on the VU meter, but will provide an audibly more distorted sound. Next up, I'll finish this look at the J37's controls by going through all the adjustments related to its use for delay and echo effects.